Hey, good morning, good evening, good afternoon. My name is Robert Newman. I am the founder of Inbound Real Estate Marketing. We are a real estate marketing company that uses SEO and focuses on lead generation. In the meantime, though, I'm an industry veteran of the real estate marketing industry as a whole of 11 years. And part of what I do is I do reviews on companies that I've worked for, companies I've competed against. I try to make my reviews very in-depth, and this is going to be one of those reviews. Today we're going to talk about Agent Image. Now, I worked with Agent Image from 2007 through 2010. And what Agent Image does is they build real estate websites. They build three main types. Now, putting them into any particular bucket is a little unfair because they've built probably 20, 30, 40,000 real estate websites over the years, and I'm just going to cover the main types. That's not to say that's all that they've ever done. It is to say it's the majority of what they've done, and that's what I focus on, is the vast majority. Obviously, as a person that worked with this company for a while, I have an unusual amount of insight. However, the company insight and information about who they are as a corporate environment, I've already done another video on that as part of my my blog post, The 10 Companies Making the Best Real Estate Websites in 2018. As a matter of fact, the reason I'm doing this review today is that Agent Image has been on that list in 2017 and 2018. They're a unique company that does a unique thing inside the real estate marketing space, and I doubt that they won't be on my list of top 10 anytime soon. Having said that, I decided to take some time and drill down a little bit deeper and talk about the actual websites that they produce, because I did more of a company overview and I did do some website examples, and I touched very briefly on their space, like what the space they occupy within the entire real estate marketing industry. This video is going to drill a little bit deeper into that. What we're going to talk about today is we're going to talk about the websites that they build specifically. Okay, so they have a website called an Agent Pro. Now, an Agent Pro is exactly what you see on the screen here. It's a template website built on WordPress. I know a lot of my audience knows what these are, and some of them don't. So WordPress is a open license content management system. It is so common and so prevalent that fully 25% of the websites that are on the web right now are built on WordPress. It makes it somewhat of a internet standard. If you're going to build a website that you own and you want to get a powerful tool that's very versatile, almost everybody builds on WordPress. I recommend WordPress for real estate. Agent Image builds their Agent Pros on WordPress, as they do most of their sites. Back when I worked with them, they were using a different platform to build their higher-end websites. I am sure that by this time they've transferred those onto WordPress as well. So, having said that, Agent Pros, to the best of my knowledge, and I don't claim complete and utter knowledge of their current pricing structures, I do have many relationships still connected to the company that are personal, but they, as any company, has the ability to change their pricing at the drop of a hat. I do believe, though, that their starting websites range between $1,500 and $2,100 without any of their marketing packages attached, and this is an example of one of those websites. So let's get into what makes it an Agent Pro. So an Agent Pro is what is going to commonly be referred to as a template website. What does that mean? That means that they've got these template layouts that they have their own branding connected to. Vienna, Havana, Empire, Milan, Florence, Sydney, Bordeaux, Capri, Luxor, Geneva. Essentially, it's a layout. Okay? You get to choose which of these layouts looks the best for you. You can make small changes to these designs. It does look like the one that I've chosen as an example is probably a Milan. And they've done something different with the search box. These Agent Pros, as with most template designs, allow you to choose fonts and colors. You can probably choose drop-down menus. You can certainly choose the outline color to these drop-down menus. You get to choose the photos that go onto the home page. You get to choose the buttons. But the internal pages, how these pages are laid out, these are going to be dictated by the design that you've chosen. You probably can get them to do some design, but it's going to be an additional charge. So that is, at the core of it, that is a Agent Pro. Now, all the websites that Agent Image makes fall into what I refer to as the branding bucket. So if you've read my top 10 companies making real estate websites or many of my other posts, you'll realize that I personally categorize real estate websites three ways. You have companies that make branding websites, you have companies that make real estate lead generation sites, and you have companies that make real estate IDX search sites, or just search sites in general. What does that mean at the core of it? It just means what elements does the company actually focus on? Okay, what are they doing in terms of their core service? Agent Image makes very pretty websites. They don't spend too much time talking about nor figuring out, or actually, let me rephrase, because some of how I feel like I am unfair. It's not like they've never thought about nor spoken about lead generation, but in terms of where do they invest their resources, they're gonna invest their resources in designers, developers, making the process work better to build a better looking real estate website faster with a better customer experience. What does all that mean? They're focused on the branding experience, on how something looks and feels. And then as a secondary service, they're focused on, let's say, plugging in tools that nurtured leads. And the last that I heard, they weren't plugging in tools at all. In other words, you can't get them to connect your website to LionDesk or any other CRM, and maybe they've got a skinned CRM that they can offer you, but it's probably not going to want to be one of the best ones that you can have, nor are they figuring out exactly, like, all they're going to do in terms of their lead generation efforts is they're going to connect their IDX search tool, which I think is usually iHomeFinder, and they're going to have the setup for this tool be one of the predefined setups. In other words, there's no customization whatsoever in the way that they generate names, emails, and there's no nurturing that happens once those names and emails are generated. All of those things would be something that a real estate lead generation company would focus on. And maybe a real estate lead generation company doesn't focus so much on the branding of the site. So if you're an agent that is looking to create a good experience and some of these other needs are secondary, and I'm not saying that you don't want everything, everybody wants everything, but seeing as how you are only given a choice of companies that do X number of things very well, you usually do, if you're really well educated, you have to make a choice. And it's unfortunate, but it's true. So you have to kind of pick what's most important to you and then pick your website provider based upon those criteria. Okay, so now that we've once again defined who Agent Im is and what they are, let's look at their next big product. So they also have something called semi-custom websites. Now, a semi-custom website, which when I worked there was their most popular product or service, is a actual custom homepage. Now, I will eventually create a piece of content that tells you how to get the best result from a custom website development process inside real estate. But for the moment, let's just pretend that you as an agent or a broker have a deeper, like you've built a few websites, and usually at that period in your career, you develop a stronger opinion about how you want your website to look. At that particular moment, if that happens, there's only a couple of providers that you can go to that are going to actually give you a really custom feel to the website. There's a lot of people out there that say that they do. Some people are better at it than others. Agent Image is one of the best. And like Dacknow will still do it, will still do it. real estate webmasters will still do it. And again, I suggest that you look at my 10 companies comparison if you end up wanting to get an understanding of how those companies compare against each other. The semi-custom website, I pulled up a good example because part of that semi-custom experience, they made a simple map. So the design itself, it's very beautiful, it's clean, and then you get what is definitely unique looking map experience. Now maybe there might have been an additional charge for this map experience. The rest of the design here is not incredibly unique. They do have some very cool custom buttons on the homepage, and for all I know, they may have custom designed these buttons, and that does take a lot of design time, which is why customizing anything is somewhat expensive. I understand from the user perspective that you go, oh, it's a few buttons. Well, it just depends on whether or not you're going to let a company use in-house iconography, or you're going to require that they customize it, because believe it or not, a button can take as long to design as an entire element on a homepage. It's just a smaller, unique design. So people get very confused by design, and honestly, being in this industry, I understand why. There's a lot of details. So you go off the map, it connects to a landing page. Semi-custom websites, just like most of Agent Image's other websites, don't contain customized interior pages. You're not going to find anything truly unique on these interior pages once you get past that custom home page. It's just an about page. It's an easy drop-down menu, agents, so on and so forth. It's a very simple design. There's nothing too spectacular here. Now, I'm going to jump ahead. I'm going to show you one of Agent Image more famous custom sites. Now, they designed the site, and since then I think that Joyce has taken over ownership and taken their name off the design, but originally Agent Image was responsible for this site. As a matter of fact, there was a very talented project manager who's moved on to other things, and he's actually gone into large account web development management, like he's working with Toyota and things like that. But he designed, this is an example of a customized bio page. What's custom about it? Not the information here for sure, but the links to the other pages, like doing a custom internal menu. So essentially, without putting it on the same page, you've got a 5-page bio now that's just in chapters with an internal menu. It's one of my favorite bios. It's simple, but you know what? A lot of the best pages on websites are simple, so don't let it fool you. So compare that to this. This is good. It's visual. There's nothing wrong with it. It's a very clean presentation of a menu. You've got these interactive buttons here on the right-hand side. I just wanted to show you what the differences are between the two. Okay, and last but not least is Imagine Studios. Now, the history with Agent Image and their most custom product is very interesting. So Agent Image started out as the design people, and indeed the design people still exists. It was a custom real estate website concept that the 3 partners started in their apartment, and they were very young, high school, I think. I may be wrong on that, but they were young. I'm not wrong on that. And they were doing general custom real estate website development. One of the partners, his stepfather, is a real estate broker, and I don't want to spill anybody's personal information all over the internet, so I'm going to leave it blank. But he is a very, very well-known, influential broker here in Southern California, with many offices and agents, and I think that's what gave one of the partners the idea to start doing real estate websites. And the concept took off very fast. Within, I think, a year or two of developing Agent Image, they got into doing real estate websites. Here's the interesting thing, though. They stuck with this concept of custom work and quickly realized that in real estate, with the end users being very unfamiliar with what custom website development really means, and not having an internal team that was trained very well to scope custom projects, they actually lost money on custom real estate projects in many, many cases. So they created a product called Imagine Studios, which is what we're about ready to look at. Imagine Studios is a custom homepage and customized interior pages. So this is a demo that was actually put up ages ago. I couldn't believe that they still had it up. This gives you an understanding of what, like this is one layout, and then you could go to another layout, okay, or this layout, right? You can also have, where do your testimonials go? That kind of thing. Featured properties layout. Another thing about this is they're going to give you the ability to design how your properties look. They usually, with Imagine Studios websites, they're going to do a much more elegant property layout. It's not going to be some of the other property layouts that we've looked at, like this one, which actually I didn't get into enough. So this is the semi-custom site, but you can see here that all the pages are the interior pages. So it's believe it or not, I think I'm going to leave this mistake in the actual review. This is another semi-custom site. I did not realize I had done two semi-custom examples. This was just another way to say the pages are laid out. But you know what? It's a good way to compare against this versus this property layout. Gives you an understanding of what a customized layout looks like. And indeed, there is customization in the design. Just because they have it templated out does not mean there's not a lot of additional design work that doesn't go into this. There is. They're just making their job doable in terms of giving you a custom looking and feeling site that truly is customized across every single page. In terms of Imagine Studios websites, again, even though these websites are between $5,000 and $10,000, at the level that you're a luxury broker and your image on is the #1 thing to you, and there aren't that many of these, but lead generation is second, many other elements are second, but design and presentation are first. Agent image is still one of the very best choices. They certainly have the skill and the experience, and they've developed a lot of luxury sites over the years, Hilton and Highland, many others. And they've got good design aesthetics, and usually they have a special team. You're guaranteed to get some of their most experienced designers and developers that go on to these particular designs. Of course, you pay for all of that, but in terms of what you're getting, it's definitely unique. So let's take a look at an actual site. Now this is an old example. And actually, I did some business. I had some conversations with Diane over the years, or her team, and so this is a really good example. It's an older example, but it's a good example of a site, and they use this site as an example of what works for marketing. Just a quick aside on that. Much of what you're looking at, like this page, was produced by the marketing team at Agent Image, which was actually a division called Inforza, which was a marketing division of theirs that they've since sold off. I haven't seen any really solid examples of content since they sold that division off. I think they've deprioritized it. Most of the stuff in here that's truly incredible content, and you can see how the interior page was developed and designed. This was all put on here by Diane's team. All these pages, tons of pages. Look at how deep these pages are in terms of content. And the end result of all this is actually a website that generates a lot of traffic. It's a hell of a resource. The The area pages, what drives most of Diane's traffic and results, are these pages. The reason that these pages get traction in the search engines is the overall value of the website. So don't be fooled. There's no content on these pages. Normally they would not rank, but the whole website is so authoritative. They're getting some value from the other pages that they have on the site. This is an extremely rare example of a site that's doing well for marketing, and it would take that's in the agent image portfolio, and it would take something like this where the end user has just built such incredible content across every page. I want you to note, though, that a lot of the marketing pages, this is one of them, they're not really ranking. They're not driving traffic or ranking on the site. It is the community pages that are ranking. And those are not actual pages that anybody's done any work on. So when this site is used as an example, because I think it is, you should be aware that there are some specifics as it relates to this particular client that really probably are not going to impact you personally, especially if you're a broker or somebody. My suggestion is this. I don't usually do this. I don't do too many plugs inside my videos, but if you're considering a high-end real estate brokerage site, that's definitely the kind of thing where you're going to want to schedule a call with me and have a conversation before you pull the trigger with anybody, because all your options, whether it's them or Boomtown or Real Estate Webmasters, and you know who they are, because if you're a broker and you're considering a high-end luxury option, you know that you're looking at anywhere between $5,000 and $30,000 as a starting investment for any of these products. So taking a little bit of extra time talking to somebody that really knows how these options works, it's probably a good idea. And that wraps up my real estate website review for Agent Image. I hope that you found it useful. If you have any questions, you can either leave them in the comments or you can schedule an appointment on my homepage of my website. In terms of my YouTube channel, which is probably where you're viewing this, do me a favor, like this video. If you found anything helpful about it, you'd be doing me a favor to like the video. And if you think that you would like to increase your knowledge about real estate marketing, or you're interested in learning about what I am talking about in terms of the companies doing real estate marketing, you're definitely going to want to subscribe to my channel. I add anywhere from 5 to 12 new videos that are really deep reviews every single year, and it's about once a month. And you'll probably eventually get the company that you want reviewed. And if for some reason you really are desperate to see something about somebody in particular, hit my contact form and send me a message. Thanks a lot. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you found this helpful. See you on the next one.